Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Brookline. First Parish is a welcoming Unitarian Universalist congregation, open and affirming of all people.
Whoever you are, whatever your gifts or abilities may be, however you identify your gender or sexual orientation, however your life and faith journey has taken you,
you are welcome here. I am Martha Leader. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
I am Dale Dick. My pronouns are he, him, his. We are your worship associates this morning. Our service today is led by our senior minister, Reverend Lisa Perry.
I believe we were going to talk about greetings.
Yes. So come on out here, Gail and Martha. We're going to demonstrate something for people. So as you know, there has been some anxiety, very reasonably, about this coronavirus, the COVID-19. And so last week we spoke about how we are no longer going to encourage people to greet each other by hugging or handshaking. So we're going to demonstrate some other ways to greet each other. I think we should stand up here so we have a little bit more room. Sorry for my running out against you. So one way is this. Elbows. Hey. Okay. Another way would be hands together at the heart. Or hands over the heart. Or jazz hands is another way. Or the way that I recently learned that the Chinese are now greeting each other, which is foot to foot, like this. Or more dancing than Gail and I do. Or any other ways that you can think of to welcome the other person without actually having very much contact. Thank you. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that just for our health and safety, our sexton, Derek, has prepared our coffee using latex gloves, and our snacks are all wrapped. There is hand sanitizer. We actually sanitize your hands, and then to carefully pick one wrapped snack, or as many as you'd like, without touching others. Thank you.
Please take a moment to look over the announcements in your order of service. If this is your first time with us, we encourage you to fill out a visitor card found on the backs of the pews, and you can place it in the offering plate after the service. After the service, everyone is, that offering plate is during the service, I misread. So when the offering plate comes around, if you fill in the card, you can just put it in. After the service, everyone is warmly invited to join us for conversation and refreshments through this door to Lion Chapel.
If you pick up one of the striped mugs like this, everyone will know you have a particular interest in sharing conversation with others today. Next weekend, on Friday evening, the 13th, and Sunday, the 15th, after church, we will have 2 opportunities for sharing community meal, food, and conversation. On Friday, there will be a pulled pork with a veggie option dinner, and on Sunday, a pizza lunch.
Both meals will accompany conversations about how our values and feelings impact our relationship with money in our lives, at home, at work, and here at First Parish. We expect this to be a lively and engaging session with fun exercises and a chance for us to get to know more about ourselves and each other.
There will be people with clipboards at coffee hour to help you sign up, so we can have a head count of the groups. Child care will be provided too. Please join us.
Welcome, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Martha and Gail. That nice welcome. So today is International Women's Day. It's a day we're going to celebrate the healing, resilience, and spirituality, the music and poetry of women. And we begin with a poem by June Jordan, which was written in 1956 in commemoration of the 40,000 women and children who, August 9, 1956, presented themselves in bodily protest against the Dum Pass in the capital of apartheid. It was presented at the United Nations, August 9, 1978. Our own shadows disappear as the feet of thousands by the tens of thousands pound the fallow land into new dust that rises like a marvelous pollen, will be fertile even as the first woman, whispering imagination to the trees around her, made from righteous fruit, from such deliberate defense defense of life as no other still will claim inferior to any other safety in the world. The whispers, too, they intimate to the inmost ear of every spirit. Now aroused, they carousing in ferocious affirmation of all peaceable and loving amplitude, sound a certainly unbounded heat from a baptismal smoke where, yes, there will be fire. And the babies cease alarm, as mothers raising arms and heart high as the stars, so far unseen, nevertheless hurl into the universe a moving force, irreversible as light years travel into the open eye. And who will join this standing up? And the ones who stood up without sweet company will sing and sing back into the mountains, and if necessary, even under the sea. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Come, my friends, into this beloved and sacred space, and let us worship together. Let's join our voices in singing, rising as you are willing and able, hymn number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open.
I would like to invite Sarah, Griffin, Maritza, and Mateo to come forward to light the chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith the world over. Please join us in our unison affirmation printed in your order of service on the wall, in Spanish and then in English. Nos entregamos y nos comprometemos a caminar juntos con congregación, prometiendo con mucha fe cuidarnos mutuamente y deleitarnos en el amor que permanecerá entre nosotros. Give ourselves one to another, learning to walk together as a congregation, promising faithfully to watch over one another and to delight her love to abide in our midst. Each week we also light 2 candles of peace and hope, each candle representing a different place on earth that we want to lift up and remember this morning as a sacred encounter with the world. After each of the candles is lit, we will speak the words for peace in English, Arabic, and Hebrew. Peace, salam, shalom. Our candle of peace is for Worldwide International Women's Day today. The theme this year is I Am Generation Equality, Realizing Women's Rights, which marks the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, adopted in 1995 at the 4th World Congress on Women in Beijing, China. This platform is recognized as the most progressive roadmap for the empowerment of women and girls. everywhere. May women worldwide have peace, safety, and full equal rights. Peace, salam, shalom.
Our candle of hope is for our country, our state, and our neighborhoods as we face outbreaks of COVID-19, the coronavirus coming closer and the threat becoming more real. May we continue to hold out hope for its containment, for healing, and for a calm and measured response, here and all around us.
Peace, salam, shalom.
Good morning, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. So in celebration of this special day, we are going to be divided by two wonderful and beautiful dancers, Michelle and Jolie, who will dance a special dance for us. This is a dance that is very particular to the Haitian culture called the Yambalu. So Yambalu is a rhythm and dance of the Haitian culture, named after its associated movement. Yambalu may be interpreted to mean supplication. There are a number of variations of the dance based on the position of the body during the dance's characteristic undulations. Yambalu debout, Yambalu zépaules, and Yambalu dos bas, all respectively upright, isolated shoulders, and crouching. Yambalu is primarily reserved for rituals and ceremonies, performed for the Haitian Loa or deities, such as Aïda Wedo, El Zuli, Ogu, and sometimes for the Gede. The dance is used to reinforce community and solidarity, as well as to induce a trance-like state. The movements of Yambalu have been described as fluid and are performed by creating undulating circular movements, which you will get to see. Thank you.
Now we're going to sing our children out to their classes with a chorus of Wade in the Water. It's number 210 in your grade hymnal, and horizontal. You may have noticed we have a beautiful women's altar here, covered with a beautiful quilt made by our own Michelle David. And some of you may have brought objects or pictures, and this is the time that we invite you to come forward and bring those to the altar. And also, it's an invitation to speak the name. Let's do this here. Speak the name of any woman in your life, alive or in spirit, who you want to hold up on this International Day of Women. So, as you are moved, please come forward.
Christine Williams, Lois Montrose, Mary Day, Muriel Sherwood, and Eunice Montrose.
I brought this in memory of my grandmother, Neila Balogran. She was really a very important part of my life, bringing poetry recitation going on. So to Neila.
Her artist logo.
My name is Sue. I brought 3 women to our remembering table. My great-grandmother, who was taken by her husband to an insane asylum and given a forcible hysterectomy. She was my grandmother's mother, and my grandmother was a very meek person as a result. She was, I think, terrified by that experience. And my own mother, who was a total firebrand organizer, and Elizabeth Warren, who I see as a leader. And I'm so grateful for her campaign.
Candle of joy and appreciation. My friend Susie Schuster, in her previous life, lived in Saudi Arabia, where she led the charge to make sure that the ruling elites provide the care and support for all the women of Yemeni and other descent who were living in the kingdom with no resources whatsoever.
This is another great mother amazing person. She also taught me one thing, that she was very honest, more than I was sometimes. And she said, if you see a nickel sitting on the mantle, leave it there. It's not yours.
Joellen and I want to honor our mothers. Gertrude Beck and Ann Hawkins made us what we are.
Gratitude to my mother, Suzanne Bedell. Wow, I'm gonna cry right now. My life is full of strong women who have helped support me my entire life. I would not be where I am today if it were not for them. So my mother, first and foremost, Suzanne Lynch, Jean Saladino, Debbie Adams, and my wife, Bryce Whitaker, strongest whip, and Elizabeth Warren.
I'd like to hold up 3 women, my Italian grandmother, Eleanor Zarella Garofoli, my mother's mother, Ruby Bubar, or actually Ruby Knight Bubar, and my mother, Patricia Bubar Garofoli. And this is me when actually I was a brunette, a real brunette, when I was 20. And this is my mother. So I was 20-something and my mom was 40-something. So pay them homage.
This is my mom, Dory Leader, who, although a very reserved person, unlike me, stood up and spoke out against racism and homophobia and any other oppressions. And on the back was an angel, which she drew angels all the time, so I feel like she's kind of an angel who's still with me.
I'd just like to light a candle for my mother, Betty Lucille Bravo Moore, who died 10 years ago today, actually. She grew up poor in Kansas and fought her way to get a PhD at Columbia University, and we had our tough times together, but she really gave me the drive to go on at times in my life.
I want to lift up the matriarchy in my family. My mother's mother, Elizabeth Bennett Cunningham, my father's mother, Cecile Thompson Wood, and my mother, Margaret Cunningham Wood. I could not have had finer, more powerful, and deeply feeling women, models, and leaders in my family. One last candle for all those women all around the globe who have led us, inspired us, healed us, and shown us the strength that women truly have. And now we say, as we always do, there is a love holding me. There is a love holding you. There is a love holding us all. We rest in that love. Please join me in the spirit of prayer, followed by a time of silent meditation. Spirit of life and love, holy and blessed Goddess of all names and no name, We honor today the lives of all women living and in spirit. We are here in part because of their courage, their resilience, their love. Without the healing and care that they provided, the nurturing and sustenance of all kinds, many of us would not be here today. Their spirits are with us. They sustain us still. We feel their presence here. Today we face fears of a deadly virus that may cause us to turn from each other, to isolate and pull away. May we remember that it is in our connection to this community, whether here in this space, in each other's homes, or even virtually through internet or phone lines, that we stay close enough for comfort and support. Let us pull together in hard times, knowing that this beloved community is strong enough to hold all of our fears, wide enough to keep each other close, and deeply connected enough for us to feel each other's presence as we walk into the unknown. May all be blessed and protected and held in this love today and always. Amen.
My name is Lily Mosman, and I'm going to read some reflections on International Women's Day. My reflections. International Women's Day is a global celebration for the efforts and achievements women have fought for on gender equality, our reproductive health and sexual health, and so much more. It is a day to give thanks and gratitude to the women who have taken care of us, taught us, led us, fed us, and influenced our lives. As we celebrate this day around the world, I decided to remember and reflect on one particular special woman, my maternal grandmother. Her name was Virginia Desir. A woman who was the center pillar of our family. We used to refer to her as the center pillar. In Haitian Creole is potomita, like the center pillar, and she really was. A woman who embodied grace and strength. Even though she passed away many decades ago, her love and wisdom are forever present in our lives. One particular memory that I want to share with you today is around her knowledge of herbal medicine. Her botanical expertise drew on the perspective of preventive health care. Clearly an approach that came from observation, experimentation, and it fostered her natural environment. As I became older, I fully understood the critical aspects of her time-honored practice, which was deeply rooted in her connection to Mother Earth. I also believe that such knowledge reflected her resilience to ensure that her loved ones and those around her would remain healthy. My grandma was born around 1885, 81 years after Haiti gained its independence from France. Fortunately for her, the evil system of slavery never touched her life. Nonetheless, she was born in the shadow of post-European imperialism, which left the country in dire poverty. Therefore, the use of herbal medicine and doctoring to her family was a necessity grown out of the legacy of slavery. Less than ideal conditions often violated the basic human rights of women, such as my grandmother. So having access to natural herbal resources provided women a great deal of autonomy over the health of their bodies and their families. So let me tell you a little story. Just like any kid, I worshiped summertime, especially summer vacation. Consequently, I dreaded the end of summer, not so much because I had to go back to school. The truth was, 2 weeks prior to school, my grandmother had a ritual of preventive health care with a focus on the whole body. That focus spelled misery for us children. I even thought of running away a couple of times, just to escape that dreaded ritual. It meant that all of us children of school age were forced to endure an onslaught of herbal medicine from super bitter teas that she would make, which the thought of those teas still make me shiver from head to toe. A painful dry body scrub, colonic cleanse, and the ingestion of cod liver oil, and so much more. It wasn't fun at all. That routine was often a communal one, which was extended to our neighbors who may have lacked such herbal knowledge, or perhaps did not have the financial means to purchase the necessary ingredients. My grandmother's botanical knowledge was varied and complex in nature. It comprised of herbs, fruits, leaves, bark, roots, oils, and a mix of some basic aspects of Western medicine. All these concoctions highly benefited her family, as most of us remained healthy throughout the school year and beyond. Although her knowledge of herbal medicine was efficient, she did not reject conventional medicine. Part of my reflection also made me realize of the great length that women around the world must go to support the health and well-being of their families, whether through the use of root medicine, invoked ancestral spirits, resisted the oppression of slavery, and challenged the arrogance of Western medicine that probably would have criticized my grandmother's ritual as superstitious or even backward. Ironically, we all know about the increasing popularity of herbal medicine. Many of us are paying a full fortune for them nowadays. A quick trip to Whole Foods in their natural holistic eye revealed many of the same ingredients used by my grandmother, and yet we're paying so much more for them now. On this International Women's Day, may we turn inward to honor the remarkable knowledge of our foremothers and present-day women who continue to keep us alive through the healing tradition of plant-based medicine as a symbol of their love and resilience. Thank you.
The offering will now be gratefully received.
If you are visiting First Parish for the first time today, please feel free to let the basket pass you by.
We are so glad to have you with us.
keeps the lunch fire. This one. For all that you have given so generously and for all that we have received, we say thank you.
We are going to do a reading by Audre Lorde, A Woman Speak. Moon marked and touched by sun, my magic is unwritten, but when the sea turns black, it will leave my shade behind. I seek no favor, untouched by blood, unrelenting as the curse of love, permanent as my error or my pride.
I do not mix love with pity, nor hate with scorn. And if you would like know me, look into the entrails of Uranus, where the restless oceans pound.
I do not dwell within my birth, nor my divinities, who am ageless and half-grown, and still seeking my sister witches in Dahomey. Wear me inside the coiled cloth, as our mother did mourning.
I have been woman for a long time. Beware my smile. I am treacherous with old magic, and the moon's new fury, with all your wide futures. Promise, I am woman and not wife.
Please stand as you are willing and able to join us in our hymn of preparation, number 212. We are dancing Sarah's Circle, verses 1, 3, and 5.
sermon is called In Praise of Powerful, Healing, Spirit-Filled Women. Let's hear it for the women. Women of all colors, all sexual orientations, all abilities, all ethnicities, all faiths, all ages, all identities, all shapes and sizes, all of us together. We are women, hear us roar. We deserve to be proud, to be celebrated. We are mothers, grandmothers, daughters, sisters, siblings, friends, lovers, survivors, and thrivers. Women. In the words of Audre Lorde, we are speaking we are unrelenting, our magic is unwritten. Women, we will no longer let our voices, our truth, and our existence be denied. See us, know us, women, we are here. I hope you loved all the music and the words and the dancing and our women this morning. Right? It was great. Yes, amen. Thank you. Keith and I decided that we will have as much music from women as our services can hold this month. And there is plenty out there. And Wade in the Water that you heard and saw dance so beautifully this morning is a beautiful spiritual in the African American tradition, the first distinctive music genre of African people in the American diaspora. It's a classic that has been sung in Black churches for decades and popularized by groups like Sweet Honey and the Rock and many, many others. Wade in the Water is especially connected to the Underground Railroad. The idea that slaves escaping to freedom could cover their scent from the hunting dogs by wading into rivers. It has another powerful meaning as well. Wading into troubled waters means stepping out into places where we haven't always been traditionally welcome. Speaking our minds, raising our voices, is the perfect hymn to reflect women's courage and power and spirituality as we wade so often into the unknown. I think of women who were married off to men they barely met, of the risks and unknowns of childbirth, of women taken from the only home they knew to live with a stranger's family, suffering the domination of men, sometimes including abuse and violence. I think of women fighting for the vote, for equal rights. We still have not passed the ERA, people. There are only 6 countries in the world, 6, that have full, equal legal rights for women. Belgium, France, Denmark, Latvia, Luxembourg, and Sweden. It is shameful. I don't know what else to call it. And this has been a tough year for women, with more high-profile sexual abuse cases, often overshadowed by the doings or misdoings of the man in the White House. And now, so much disappointment, especially in the political field. Many of us watched in dismay as woman after woman dropped out of the presidential race, ending finally last Thursday with Elizabeth Warren. Whether you were a fan of a female candidate or not, I think it is disheartening for all of us, for all women especially, to see that this race for the top leadership in our country is once again between white men, old white men. Now and many of us, love us some older white men. We do. I don't want you to be confused. But seriously, I think we can all agree they have had their time in leadership. Yet evidently this country is still not ready for a woman executive. Some 87 countries worldwide, including Muslim and so-called third world countries on every continent have had women in top leadership, in the top leadership role at one time. Many of them more than once. Ukraine, Mongolia, China, India, Israel, Haiti, Nicaragua, Bangladesh, Turkey, Rwanda, and all the Scandinavian countries, just to name a few. 87 out of 196 countries, that is nearly half, and the US is in the wrong half. It took over 300 years for First Parish to settle its first solo senior female minister. We can't wait 300 years to have a woman in the White House, to have women leading everywhere. A woman's place is wherever she chooses it to be. Amen. More women in politics make for stronger democracies, says a recent UN Women report. Evidence shows that women's leadership in political decision-making improves those processes, they say. Women have demonstrated political leadership by working across party lines and championing issues of gender equality, such as the elimination of gender-based violence, parental leave and child care, pensions, gender equality laws, and electoral electoral reform. Failing to allow women to participate in politics, said the report, means failing to achieve a fairer and more equal society. And all I can say is, it is way past time, my friends. In the words of the Me Too movement, time is up. There's so much more that I can say about women's rights, women's strength. Thank you so much, Lily, that beautiful story of your grandmother and you as a child, of women's knowing and women's protection and healing. And women as artists, as we saw in the powerful dance from Michelle and Jody, thank you for that. And in the words of June Jordan and Audre Lorde and the music of all the women composers today. Through centuries of oppression, war, struggle, and crisis, women have lifted us up. Women's ways of understanding, of healing, and spirituality, while they haven't always been acknowledged, much less honored, they have been there, holding us, healing us. The resilience, healing, and spirituality of women are inextricable from each other. There was an article in the New York Times Magazine last week about Muslim women incarcerated in Afghan prison for the murder of their violent and abusive husbands, uncles, brothers, or other men in their lives. In every case, they simply were left no other choice. Unable to leave the relationship because the oppression, the ownership of women is so complete in that country. The only way out, the only way to save themselves and their children was through murder. And in this women-run prison, they have made a community for themselves, healing each other's deep emotional wounds, staying strong, nurturing the children. Yes, there are children in this prison with them. Both their own children and the children of the prison guards, practicing their faith together, teaching and leading the younger girls. The scars they bear, both physical and emotional, are deep and horrifying. And yet they find a way to sing and cook and sew and learn and craft a life for themselves with what they have. In prison, they say, they are free in ways that they never could be. Many of them say this is the most freedom they have ever had in their lives. Reading that article, I was simultaneously awestruck by the strength of these women, inspired by their deep faith and their trust in each other, especially the trust between the female prison guards and the prisoners. Women know how to be there for each other, to make the most of what little we have. We know that it could be us, and we have understood that for centuries. Resilience, healing, spirituality, all deeply interwoven in our survival. Late last year, the UN Security Council unanimously adopted Resolution 2493, urging member states to recommit themselves to its Women, Peace, and Security agenda, now approaching its 20th anniversary, which includes creating safe environments for women leaders, peace builders, human rights defenders, and political actors around the globe. Afterward came this. Speaking after the resolution's adoption, the United States representative noted that the resolution refers to previous council texts containing references to sexual and reproductive health and rights, as well as to the safe termination of pregnancy, which he claimed the United States cannot support. Also, the Council urged countries supporting peace processes to facilitate the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women at the earliest stages to address threats, harassment, violence, hate speech, and to stay committed to increasing the number of civilian and uniformed women in peacekeeping operations. And again, the U.S. falls short, refusing to throw its weight behind those women putting their lives on the line every day as peacekeepers. Yet one more confirmation of where this administration stands on women's rights. We've come a long way, and there is a lot more work to do. Now, I want to take a moment to speak directly to my beloved siblings here who identify as male. dear friends, I know all of this may especially not be easy for you to hear. I know how much you love the women in your lives, your female-identified siblings, mothers, sisters, daughters, friends, lovers, co-workers. I know that you want the best for us. I know that. And I want to say, please don't slip into shame about what your people have done or not done. All those things that I've talked about. Shame doesn't help move any of us forward. Be proud of those moments when you have stood up for a woman. I know you've done that. Stand tall in your advocacy and your allyship. Thank you. Thank you for what you've done. And also today, on this International Women's Day, recommit to never stand silent as a woman is dismissed or spoken over. To never turn your back on abuse or disrespect of your sister siblings. To bear witness to the injustice that is still out there and to do all that you can to make things right. To make sure that every day the voices and ideas of women in your lives are lifted up, which might mean you taking a step back. Do this for us and do it for yourselves too, because it is indisputable, as Gloria Steinem told us in 1970, that the liberation of women is men's liberation too. None of us are free until every one of us is free.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen is right. And men, consider naming aloud that you are a feminist. The power of the feminine lives in us all, female and male identified. If we deny women, we deny that part in every one of us. And we need all of us to stand together, to get behind women, especially young women and girls, and insist that they take their rightful place in leadership. Think about the ways that you can back and lift up the leadership, thinking, and inspiration of women. Pause before speaking. Your voice does not always have to be the first in the room. I learned in anti-oppression work to start by inviting the voices of people in the most marginalized groups, those who have experienced the most oppression by color, economic class, sexual orientation, ability, gender identity, etc., and to keep moving through those groups, ending with the voices of owning class, white, cisgender men. It's a powerful practice. Maybe we'll try that here. I know that it will be eye-opening and humbling for all of us. And at the end of the day, we are all in this together. We are women. Hear us roar! In the tradition of Audre Lorde, Adrienne Rich, Bell Hooks, and Nikki Giovanni, of Aretha Franklin, Helen Reddy, Pink, and Beyonce, we will let our music and artistry be vibrantly heard and seen, and never accept that we are too much. We are not too much. In the name of Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, the suffragettes, and the women's labor movement, we will keep on trusting our own thinking, our intuition, our ways of organizing, as we take stands for what is right. In honor of Shirley Chisholm, Bella Abzug, Barbara Jordan, and the 7 courageous women who ran for president this year, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, Kirsten Gillibrand, Tulsi Gabbard, and Marianne Williamson, we will keep on fighting for our rights. We will not be quiet. We will not sit down. In the spirit of Gloria Steinem, Betty Friedan, Angela Davis, Eleanor Roosevelt, Rachel Carson, we will never stop teaching and leading and speaking out when we see injustice toward our sisters, siblings, and children of all genders, and to our Mother Earth. Never doubt the power of a group of women to change the world, because we already have. Amen? Amen. I was so moved as I wrote this sermon that I contacted Keith and I let him know that I wanted to change our final hymn. So we'll be singing the Anthem of the Women's Labor Movement, composed by Carolyn Kolstad, as we come marching, marching, otherwise known as Bread and Roses. It's number 109 in your great hymnal. We didn't have time to get it on a slide. So please rise as you are willing and able, and join in as we come marching, marching. for benediction. These are the words of the Reverend Teresa Soto. Everything is still on fire. You and your community are the answer. You are not only a people of flame, but also a people of cold, clear truth. You know both where you fall short and where you flourish and where you still reach. Everything is still on fire, but all is not lost. You remain more nimble than steadfast, more unshakable than swayed by the latest rage. You are here to put out the ravenous flames and heal the world. Enough is enough. Beloved friends, take all that we have shared and all that we have been to each other here out into the world and be a blessing to all those you meet, and may you yourselves be blessed. Amen.
Amen.